What an amazing time we had in Dallas at the 2022 National Conference. Hard to believe we went 3 years without a national conference. We did try doing the Zoom version of, and I was asking people in Dallas, I'm like, hey, what were the highlights of the Zoom national conferences? And nobody could remember anything. There were no highlights to be remembered. So that it's kind of a tell on how important these events are and just the energy we get and the camaraderie and the long-term relationships. You can tell it's like a family-run business. I mean, these are people that you know for life. I mean, some of my best friends, happen to be in this business. So I'm very proud of that. The highlight for me, obviously, was seeing Sebastian Angus get on stage. It was great for me watching the group of owners that he's been working with and developing for the last 12 years. They were walking with him on the way to stage, and I'm like, man, what a remarkable group of people. Hardworking, intelligent, charismatic, committed. I mean, the list goes on, but the future looks so bright for that organization. I'm real proud of those guys. I'm real proud of Sebastian. In this particular episode, I wanted to just capture some of the other speeches from we're just surrounded by so many great people inside and outside of the organization. I just wanted to memorialize and capture these videos and kind of put a highlight reel together for you for the 2022 National Conference in Dallas. I hope you enjoy.
So it's interesting, I got in this afternoon, so I unfortunately missed some of the action beforehand, but when I got here tonight, people were coming up to me and saying, congratulations, congratulations. And the first 2 times somebody said it to me, I thought they were talking about my moustache. I was like, yeah, thanks, I've been working on it. It's not quite there yet, but I have a long-term plan for it. But they were talking about this 20-year thing. And I didn't know how I felt about it. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to keep it real simple. I didn't quit for 20 years. End of the day. Now, I quit everything else. So when I was from about the age of 6 to about the age of 13, funnily enough, not a lot of people know this, I was really good on the violin. And I got like really good at it. Like, what do they call it? They had some word for it. Extinction? It wasn't anyway. No, it wasn't that. I passed with extinction. Distinction, that's it. See, I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't into it. But I was pretty good at the violin. And my first day of high school, the bus used to drop us off at the end of the street, and I had about a half-a-mile walk to my high school. So my first day of high school, I carried my violin case up the road, and people kind of made fun of me. And I quit that day. So I was like, I want to be an athlete, I don't want to be one of these funny violinists. And I quit, and I told my mom and dad I quit, and they go, you're going to regret that, Edward? And I go, I won't, it's fine. And I kind of regretted it. Because it would be kind of nice to be able to knock out a tune, And then, when I was about 15, I got into golf. I got really into golf. And I got really good pretty quick. My handicap went from 32 to scratch in 2 years. And Golf Monthly in Europe wrote an article about me and compared me to Greg Norman, if anyone's ever heard of him. And I remember how much pride my dad had in this article. And he goes, yeah, he's going to turn pro one day. And the reality is I got a scholarship to the States to play golf. And pretty much when I got here, I quit putting in effort. And I did all right. I turned pro in the end, but I basically quit on golf. And then when I found this business at the age of 25, I just looked at it. I'm like, God, this is merit-based. It's kind of like sports. Whatever you put in, you can get out. After I saw my third pre-management meeting, I was like, you can make millions of dollars doing this. And the best part is you can only do well by helping out the guys in your office do well. And my very first crew night, I went to a Braves game. Me and my one leader, a guy called Will Pettis. And we were in the cheap seats watching the Braves. And I said to him, I go, look, man, I've quit everything else in my life. I'm doing this. I'm going all the way. And he hugged me. And I was like, yes. And he said, when you open up, Ed, I'm coming with you. He quit 3 weeks later. But that's really all I've done. I just stuck at it. And I've worked hard. I've worked really hard at times. I've kind of cruised at times. There's been great times. There's been not so great times. But I just didn't quit. That's it. And one of my mentors said to me years ago, write down your goals and figure out if you've got a vehicle to hit those goals. And he said, before you quit, remember why you started. And it's always kind of stuck with me. And the reality is, I've grown up in this business. And I've got some of the best friends in the world sitting over there. I mean, you want to talk about people that will love you and take care of you. You've got Gary that loves you, loves us. Not every company's kind of designed that way, Brandy, don't get me started. After I had my MCL operation, I was on so many drugs, like I couldn't feed myself, and Brandy's like feeding me noodles, and they're like, yeah. I've grown up in this business, and all I'm gonna say, I'm gonna keep it real simple. When I started in the business, I wrote down my goals. The top of my list was help out my parents. I knew that they weren't really on track to do it themselves, and I knew my sister, who would really be the only one that would be interested in doing that, wasn't really on track to do it either. So that was my number one goal. And my mom and dad retired in 2007. That's 15 years ago. House is paid off. And they've been kind of chillaxing.
I want to start by just saying thank you. Can my team from South Florida please stand up? Guys, there's people that play the game and we're changing the game. And I couldn't be here without you guys, and you guys are the best team that I could possibly ask for. And this award is called Consistency Manager of the Year. And I haven't prepped my team for this, but I want to just put this to the test. Guys, what time do I leave team night? There you go. I have a rule. I just have rules for myself and for my life, and I've found that bad things typically happen to me after 11 or 12 o'clock. And so when that time hits, I have a little, alarm goes off my phone, says it's time to GTFO, and we're out of there, right? And so tonight, though, I'm going to make an exception to that rule. Tonight's going to be short and sweet, but guys, I have a very quick and easy message. Good is the enemy of great, and being number one is not being the best. There is a very big difference between the two. Run your own race. Don't look around. Put your head down and be a better person tomorrow than you were the day before. And I ask myself 3 questions every night before I go to bed. What do I feel like I did really well today? What do I feel like I screwed up? And what's my game plan for tomorrow? You keep it short, you keep it simple, go out and execute. Let's have an unbelievable night, NatCon.
Except something happened. 2 months later. We all know what it is. Everyone who has done a speech today has had something in common. We built our business and became successful, or had a level of success through COVID. COVID hit 2 months later, and it's it was an unknown obstacle. I don't know, the consultants have a wealth of experience, but no one had experience with that. I was asking Eric, I'm like, so what do we do? And he's like, I don't actually know. I'm not sure. No one has literally ever gone through this. There's so much uncertainty. Sidcore took care of us so much. I talk about that in almost every single orientation that I've done for people on their first day. For 2 years straight, I talk about the level of job security. I need the water now. The level of job security that we have. When COVID hit and no one knew what was going on, we went on a work stoppage, and the clients in Sidcore paid us a stipend to keep pretty much all of our core employees intact with no prediction of how long it was gonna last. They were paying us a salary to literally not work. right? Now, I don't know what some owners did during that time period, but I took that time period very seriously because I sat down with my core leaders. I sat down with Manissa, and we had those goals set, and they had their goals personally, and we decided we're not going to let a circumstance dictate our goals. We're going to hit our goals regardless of the circumstances, and I guarantee you the universe moves things around for us. And it did. For 2 months, we worked on our craft, worked on our pitch, worked on our training systems, recruited constantly. And then when we opened back up, Nate Weber, who had been around forever, right? If you guys don't, Nate's getting a lot of awards, but Nate had been a leader for a minute. And the dude literally went from 0 people on his team, and 7 weeks later, 8 weeks later, he had 14 people on his team. He got promoted to assistant management. He hit his numbers. I popped a bottle of champagne, and Manissa's water broke that night. I swear to God, what was the first goal? I said, we're gonna promote an assistant manager before the baby comes. And Nate got promoted. We had the whole plan of attack. Her water broke that night. Nate hit his numbers July 29th, 2020, and Olivia was born July 30th, 2020. Wow. You can't write that. That's insane. I always think about that. You don't change your goals based on circumstances. You are committed to your goals, and circumstances move around you. Okay? And yeah, Nate did well. We promoted him out. He had a good start. I had 10 people in my office, and we still have goals to hit. I picked up the phone. I called Steve Yeager. It's December 2020. And I'm like, hey, Steve, I know I just promoted Nate out. I know we were bouncing back. Got 10 people. We're doing pretty good. But not ready to promote yet, but I just want you to let me know what markets are open in North or South Carolina, because I'm coming there in March. I already told my apartment I'm not renewing my lease, and you better figure it out. Let me know what's open. The stats didn't really align in that moment, but I already knew we were going to do it because we were committed to our goals. I was talking to Manissa. I'm like, well, who's our guy? Probably Mario. I'm like, well, Mario just got married, and Mario has 1 person on his team, so I don't know how that's going to work, but let alone, Mario sat down, got serious. I think he had a big life event. And 3-4 months later, March 2020, Mario got promoted to assistant management. I had to put my lease in a month for a little bit, and I moved to South Carolina. We hit the second goal, right? So it's that's crazy. Things work. Yeah, claps for Mario. Yeah, awesome. And I told my guys, I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving Mario with 9-10 guys. 5 of you are coming with me, but we're going to be promoting owner of the year, so. Yeah, lucky you. And 5 people came with me, and we worked our ass off. I think it was 3 months, we were back to number 1, right? Which, once again, logic doesn't really line up with those milestones, but we did it anyways, because when you're committed to your goals, things move around you. And late April, going into May, I promoted Gabby and Aaron to management on the same day. Right? 2 deals simultaneously. We had done everything we said we were going to do in January 2020. So what's my point of telling you guys all this? Well, I think it directly relates to all of you, right? I hear from leaders all the time, I would love to do this business, but I just have a lot going on, right? I wish I started the business earlier, I have a family. Or I wish I started the business later, I'm just a little young, I don't know what I want yet, right? And we're only on this earth one time, right? So the way I think about it is you're either gonna do the things you wanna do, or you're going to settle, right? You're literally gonna settle. Are you gonna hit your goals, or are you gonna settle on your goals? And that's my biggest advice for you guys. It's commit to your goals, let the circumstances move around you, right? Regardless of what's going on. COVID is the number one obstacle I think we've all faced recently professionally. And certain people, they're getting up on stage today, they powered through and hit their goals anyway. So a square peg does not fit in a round hole. So I thought about that for several days after. And we are that square peg, and success is the round hole. And sometimes we have to make massive change to shape ourselves so we can fit into that success. Next slide. The most talented baseball players that I've ever played with at any level don't make it to the big leagues. It's the guys that have some talent and the guys that have the killer work ethic that make it to the big leagues. So I've got 5 things for you really quick. And if you possess over these things or obsess over these things, you'll give yourself the best possible chance. I know you want me to be done already. Give me a second. The first one is create. Our beliefs, thoughts, and emotions shape our experiences and our outcomes. So as you focus on what's next for you and your goals and your successes, are you thinking about what you want to create? Can you view right now as being right? And can you see it as a springboard for what you really want? Or are you instead concentrating on what's wrong with your current situation and trying to control your present circumstances versus actively creating what's next for you? The second one is complement. Our professional lives are as much about relationships as our personal lives. We have employees, colleagues, team members, bosses, co-workers, partners, and customers who are all important to the success of us and our organization. And every one of the people we work with on any level wants the same thing that you do. They want to be accepted, appreciated, they want to be valued and recognized. And in other words, we want to feel good. So the next time you're tempted to criticize someone, lead in with a little praise, not to turn a blind eye to the problem, behavior, or situation, but only that you remember it's not the person, it is the behavior or the situation. Begin the conversation with what's right first. So create versus control and compliment versus criticize. Man, I need a bottle of water. So much better. The third one is commitment. Commit to something. Commitment takes discipline. Someday is not a day of the week. Today is how you start with commitment. What's the point in doing anything if you're not wanting to become the best at it? No one deserves to go through life average and being mediocre. So commit. Commit to never being average. Commit to listening to your mentors and to your coaches. Commit to working harder than everyone around you. Commit to yourself. The mind is a special thing when you figure out you're in complete control. Once you have commitment, special things happen. And the fourth one is consistency. Show up every day. Give it your best every day. Learn something new every day. Find something small in your personal life that challenges your consistency, and most of the time it will translate into your work. Commitment will get you started, and consistency will keep you going. And the last one is confidence. And as a coach or a leader, the best thing you can do is build a ton of confidence in somebody. Confidence is contagious. It spreads like wildfire. And when I was a kid, I lived about a mile from the baseball field. And I'll never forget when my dad would take me to the baseball field, he would move the plate up a little bit to make the fence shorter, so I was hitting balls over the fence nonstop. And what that did was it built my confidence, and that translated into the game. So thank you, Dad. The biggest asset that I have in my life is myself. I'm a grinder. I have been since I was a kid. I choose to get things done at a high level. So if I tell you anything, be your biggest asset, not your biggest enemy. Thank you guys. Have an awesome day.